Hi, welcome. So much more fun. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Apologies in advance, by the way, if it sounds like someone else is in the room with me just kind of talking away. They're not. It's actually my neighbour who loves to have every phone call outside, and her garden is just there. And the noise travels. Amazing how far it travels, but it does. Let's talk about me and why I came off medication. So this video goes hand in hand with the blog post that I've written recently on www.gutinstinct.blog. Check it out, honestly, check it out. And it's something that is very topical to my experience with inflammatory bowel disease right now. So I do get a lot of people on my Instagram asking about how I became medication free and why I'm now off medication and the implications of that. Oh, my back! I've got such bad posture. The best way to do this is just to go back through the archives and find real questions that some people have actually asked me and my answers to them. Technology is so great. Okay, so the first question was, why did you come off medication? Because that's a great one and it's a very personal one as well. So just need to start by saying that in no way do I endorse a medication-free lifestyle. I'm not advising anyone to do it or kind of follow in my footsteps. Crohn's and colitis is a really personal experience and a very personal journey. My body is completely different to someone else's, and so what works for me really might not work for someone else and vice versa. So yeah, please don't think that this is like a, oh, tips to be meds free, because it's not. It's really not. And if that's why you're here for this video, get off, get out of here. I can't help you with that. Similarly, I've got absolutely no issues with medication at all. I think people presume that because you're medication free, therefore you're really anti-meds and whatever. I think medication can do wonderful things for great people. So just bear that in mind so we don't have any nasty comments, of which I'm sure I'm going to get some anyway, but just hold those ones back. Okay, so back to question one. Why did you come off medication? So I came off medication because it just didn't sit right with me anymore. And I know that sounds really airy-fairy, but it didn't. I had been on azathioprine for, I think, 8 months, so quite a while, and it made me feel great in terms of my Crohn's. So I had barely any stomach problems. I was feeling great. I was able to eat whatever I wanted. And then, I don't know what it was. I kind of had a bit of a light bulb moment where I thought, is this just masking the issue? Sorry. I was really uncomfortable with putting tablets and chemicals and drugs unnecessarily into my body. And you might say, okay, but they are necessary because you needed them to fix you, which I did, and they did. But I thought, well, is there an option for me to try and do this somehow without medication? You know, I've seen people who have done it, and I thought, okay, well, I'm in some form of remission right now, so now is the best time to try it if I want to. So that was one reason. And a second reason was azathioprine was just making me sick in a different way. So it was really masking my gut issues very well. Well done, azathioprine, you did a really good job at that. And I felt great, and I ate what I wanted, and I drank what I wanted, and I did what I wanted. But A, that freaked me out a bit because I was like, I don't know what's actually going on in there because I can't feel anything. It was like I'd been desensitized to the whole Crohn's thing. I was numb. I wasn't actually numb. I could feel everything. But I was having no bad symptoms bowel-wise, and so I would do whatever I wanted. And that freaked me out because I was like, I don't know if I'm actually doing more damage in the long run because I can't see it and I don't know it. So that was one reason. And another thing is I was just very unable to fight off illnesses because it's a immunosuppressive, so it suppresses your immune system. And it sounds pathetic, but I had a bit of a cold and then I lost my voice for well over a month. That doesn't sound like the end of the world, but I literally couldn't laugh for about 2 months. I've got quite a breathy laugh. It's not cute at all. Terrible laugh. But it was so sore that I was like, it was terrible, honestly, absolutely terrible, and it wouldn't go away. I remember I went to hospital, not any, a regular appointment, but I was like, my voice is gone, and I'm very concerned about it. You know, my pharmacist almost laughed, and she was like, well, you know, it will go, I'm sure it's just an infection that you're taking a bit longer to fight off, but 2 months, it's a very long time to have lost your voice, and stuff like that. I just thought, nah, this isn't for me, I'm not about this life anymore. Okay, so following on from that, what medication were you on? So I kind of just spoken about that. Whoopsie. Don't think these things through. As I was on azathioprine, I was on 75 milligrams a day, which was a drop down. I started on 125 and they put me down to 75 because 125 was too much for me. But before that, I was literally on and off Pred and the other steroid beginning with B that I can never pronounce. I was kind of back and forth, different steroids mixed with Asacol, which is just like a anti-inflammatory medication, like the kind of most basic one they can put you on. And so it was obvious that I needed to be on something stronger at the time because I was having terrible flare-ups constantly, and that's when I had my worst one in December 2016 where I was in A&E and I was losing a lot of blood and I was just so sick, which is why I went on azathioprine in the first place. How do you manage now? That's a great question. It's a really good question. So I manage now by approaching my life more holistically, which sounds ridiculous. I just try and look after myself a little bit better than I would. And I kind of don't really have a choice because now I'm able to see the effects of what I'm doing. So just before I decided to become medication free, I ate anything I wanted. I was a meat eater, I ate a lot of junk food, and I had a terrible diet, like honestly terrible. And just before I came off, I decided, right, I need to clean up my diet a little bit. I've done some research and I think I know what does and doesn't make me feel good. So I cut out dairy and I'm completely vegetarian. I try really hard to be vegan. Sometimes I slip up and I'm very good at giving in to temptation. I have zero willpower. Absolutely none. So what's the question? So yeah, I switched my diet and I was like, right, no more meat and no more dairy, and let's just see how that makes me feel. I've been doing this diet and off medication for 7 months now. Feel fine, genuinely feel pretty good. It's interesting because, you know, I like that I can see now what's happening in my body. What I like is that I can manage it by knowing what's going on. So rather than kind of guessing that everything's okay, you know, I still eat a lot of crap, basically. But instead of being like, well, give me more, I'm fine, I'm absolutely fine, and literally doing that, I'm now more like, that is delicious, but I need the toilet. And so yeah, I kind of feel the repercussions. I like to know what's going on with my body and I can track it that way. Also, something that I was a bit nervous about managing is I get really bad arthritis with my Crohn's disease. Like, it is so painful, kind of unbearable sometimes. You feel like your whole body is sore and achy and anything hurts. I decided to get acupuncture, which really, really helped. I've actually stopped having acupuncture because it was very expensive. Quite pricey. As much as I would love to say that I could afford to do that weekly, right now I cannot. So I think it really helps, but unfortunately that's not kind of long term for me at the moment. That sounds kind of right. Question 4. Do you feel better? Good question. Yeah, I think I do. Well, do you know what? That's a no. How do you manage better? I felt perfectly good on medication. I feel perfectly good not on medication. They're not comparable at all. I did feel good and I continue to feel good. I now feel good in different ways because I feel like I'm doing what makes me happy and what's right for me and for my body. So in that sense, yeah, I feel better, but I think that's very subjective to what your view is on better. Jesus. Would you ever go back on them? I'm guessing them is medication. Yeah, of course I would go back on medication if it was necessary. I think it's really important to just stress that being medication free doesn't mean that I'm anti-medicine. So right now, today, I feel good and like I don't need medicines and that's fine. But tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, something might happen, something might develop or get a bit worse, and it will be essential for me to go on medication. And I'm so fine with that. I'm so open to that. This is more like a personal kind of development thing. Oh my God, I sound like a self-healing book. I've read too many of them, clearly. But this is a personal journey and this is a personal decision. It's not because I'm on a moral high ground or anti-medication. It's because it's what I feel is best for my body right now. But if my doctor turned around to me and said, this is not good at all, you need to seriously think about going back on medication or a different medication, yeah, of course I wouldn't be like, no, don't want to hit, no. Of course I'd be open to it. I'm very, very open to it. Loads of my friends who have IBD, and I say friends because it's an online community. I don't actually have anyone physically who I see that often who has Crohn's, but so many people who I speak to are on meds that have basically saved their life or transformed them life or given them a life from inflammatory bowel disease. And so why would I ever say no, I wouldn't take meds again? Just today, I'm not. I think the moral of this video is to just do what's right for you. I think that's the most important thing. As a community of people who are going through the same thing, I think it's so important to erase judgment and be supportive of one another. As long as you're happy and healthy and feel comfortable and positive with what you're doing. So yeah, I hope that is somewhat helpful. If it's not, I'm sorry. Thank you if you've made it this far to the video and not skipped or exited. You're a babe, you can come again. Honestly, watch next time. Stay well, stay healthy, and make good decisions. And if you don't make good decisions, at least make sure they're funny. Thank you. This hurts my back so much. Gently. Does it? Potato waffles. Thanks guys.